Why money loses value over time. Have you ever looked at your bank account and wondered, why does my money feel smaller than it used to? You're working harder, maybe even earning more, yet somehow everything around you keeps getting more expensive. Milk, rent, gas, clothes. The things you used to buy without thinking now make you pause and do mental math. It's a strange feeling, isn't it? Because you're not actually losing money, but you are losing something far more important: purchasing power. And today, we are going to break this down in a way that no school, no employer, and definitely no politician has ever explained to you. By the end of this video, you will understand not just why money loses value, but how you can protect yourself, grow your wealth, and stop falling behind. This video is going to open your eyes to something that impacts every choice you make, from buying groceries to retiring comfortably. Welcome to Finance Compass. If you're serious about taking control of your financial future, hit that like button, subscribe, and let's jump into the truth about money that most people never discover. We're going to start with a simple story. Imagine you're 10 years old. You walk into a small shop with a crisp $1 bill, and in that little store, that $1 feels like power. You can buy candy, snacks, juice. You walk out loaded. Fast forward to today. You walk into a supermarket with that same $1 bill. Suddenly, it feels like a joke. It won't buy you candy. It won't buy you a drink. It won't even buy you a loaf of bread. What happened? Did the candy get better? Did the juice magically become luxurious? Did the bread get handcrafted with gold flakes? No. Your money got weaker, less powerful, less capable, less valuable. And that, right there, is the entire problem most people never learn to see. Because we've been raised to believe that saving money is safe. But no one ever tells you that money saved but not growing is actually money dying. Slowly, silently, predictably. The truth is simple. Money loses value over time. But why? The answer comes down to one word that affects every human being on Earth: inflation. Now, inflation is one of those words that gets thrown around like political confetti. You hear it in the news, in speeches, in debates, but almost nobody truly understands what it means. So let's simplify it in the most human way possible. Inflation is what happens when the price of things goes up, and the value of your money goes down. It's not complicated, but the impact is massive. Let me give you a concrete example. Let's say inflation is 7% this year. That means something that cost $100 last year now costs $107. So if your money didn't grow at least 7%, you didn't stay the same, you actually got poorer. This is what people don't realize. If your money isn't growing, it's shrinking. Doing nothing with your money is not neutral. It's negative. That's why keeping cash under the mattress, sitting on large savings accounts, or hoarding money just in case is one of the slowest and most guaranteed ways to destroy your wealth. But inflation doesn't just come from nowhere. There are powerful forces behind it. Let's break down the three biggest ones in a way that actually makes sense. The first reason money loses value is money printing. When governments create more money, the money already in circulation becomes weaker. Imagine the world has 10 apples and $10. Each apple is worth $1. Now imagine the government suddenly prints 10 more dollars, but the number of apples stays the same. Now there are $20 chasing 10 apples. What happens? Each apple doubles in price. Not because apples changed, not because farmers worked harder, not because the apples became rare, but because the money became less valuable. This is inflation at its core. More money chasing the same amount of stuff. This is a reality every country faces. And when governments hit financial problems, recessions, wars, crises, elections, printing more money becomes the easiest solution. But that solution always comes at a cost. And guess who pays that cost? You. Your salary. Your savings. Your retirement. Your grocery bill. You don't get a vote. You don't get a warning. You simply feel it when you shop, when you pay rent, when you fill your tank. This is why understanding inflation is not optional. It's essential for survival. The second reason money loses value is rising production costs. Think of everything you buy: food, clothes, electronics, cars. Every product goes through a chain. Raw materials, manufacturing, shipping, storage, retail. If the cost of any step increases, companies pass that cost on to you. If the price of oil goes up, shipping costs rise. If the cost of wheat rises, your bread gets more expensive. If rent increases, stores raise their prices to cover the gap. This is why inflation is often called a price domino effect. One small increase at the top sends waves all the way down to your wallet. You might not understand why everything is more expensive, but companies do. They see the cost increases firsthand, and they adjust their prices to survive. The third reason money loses value is demand. Imagine a country where more people want homes than there are homes available. What happens? Prices explode. No matter how much money people earn, housing keeps slipping out of reach. This is happening with cars. It's happening with rent. It's happening with food. It's happening everywhere. When demand rises faster than supply can keep up, inflation takes off like a rocket. And guess what? We're seeing it globally. Population grows, production slows, demand rises, prices follow. And you're left standing there wondering why everything feels heavier on your wallet. Let me pause and say this clearly. Inflation is not your fault, but beating inflation is your responsibility. No employer, no government, no bank is going to save you from it. The only person who can protect you is you. So how do you protect yourself? You change your mindset. Because the biggest misconception people have about money is this. They think saving money is the answer. They've been taught that saving is safe, secure, sensible. But that advice worked in a different world. A world where the cost of living didn't skyrocket. A world where money held its value. A world that no longer exists. Saving alone cannot protect you from inflation. Savings accounts don't grow fast enough. Cash cannot defend itself, and banks benefit more from your savings than you ever will. You can't win this game by playing defense. You win by going on offense. So let's break down the strategies that actually protect your money from losing value and put you ahead of inflation. The first strategy is investing. Not gambling, not day trading, not chasing the next hot trend. I'm talking about real, stable, long-term investing. You don't need to be a genius. You don't need a lot of money. You don't need fancy software or insider information. You just need time and consistency. Because while inflation slowly destroys your money, investing builds it up. Historically, the stock market grows around 7 to 10% per year. Real estate often grows similarly. Good businesses grow even faster. So while inflation pulls your money down, investing pulls your money up. Inflation is gravity. Investing is a rocket. And if your rocket is strong enough, gravity doesn't matter. The second strategy is building assets. You've probably heard this phrase before. The rich keep getting richer. There's a reason for that. And it's simpler than you think. The rich don't rely on money. They rely on assets. Here's what that means. A rich person doesn't worry if money is losing value, because their assets gain value as money loses value. Stocks go up. Real estate goes up. Businesses grow. Rental income grows. Rising prices benefit asset owners, not savers. When inflation rises, assets rise. That's why wealthy people actually make more money during inflation, while everyone else struggles just to keep up. You may not be rich yet, but you can start thinking like someone who will be. The third strategy is increasing your income. This is where most people underestimate themselves. Inflation doesn't wait for permission to rise. So why should your income wait for permission to rise? You can learn new skills. You can start a side hustle. You can negotiate your salary. You can freelance. You can build digital income streams. You can start a small online business. Every new dollar you earn is another layer of protection against the rising cost of living. And here's the truth. Sometimes the best way to fight inflation is not cutting costs, but increasing your earning power so inflation can't keep up. The fourth strategy is controlling your spending. People hate hearing this, But let me say it in the most empowering way possible. If you don't control your money, it will control you. Inflation makes everything more expensive, which means waste hurts even more. The smallest habits matter. Cooking at home more often, tracking your expenses, canceling subscriptions you don't use, avoiding impulse purchases, buying based on value, not emotion. These small actions compound over time. And this is the best part. Every dollar you don't waste becomes a dollar that can grow for your future. The fifth strategy is educating yourself financially. Think about it. Inflation has been happening long before you were born, and it will continue long after. But the only people who survive it and thrive through it are the ones who understand it. Every piece of financial knowledge you gain makes you stronger. How investing works, how taxes work, how debt works, how credit works, how businesses generate wealth, how compound growth multiplies money. Financial education doesn't just help you make money. It protects you from losing money. Most people think inflation is something you can't escape, but that's only true if you don't know your options. You're watching this video. That already puts you ahead of millions of people. Now let's come back to the heart of today's message. Why money loses value over time? Money loses value because the world changes, because economies grow, because populations rise, because governments print money, because businesses adjust prices, because people need more, want more, buy more. Money is a tool, not a treasure. It is not meant to be stored. It is meant to be used, invested, multiplied. Cash is not wealth. Knowledge is wealth. Assets are wealth. Skills are wealth. Growth is wealth. The sooner you understand this, the faster your financial life transforms. Let me tell you something powerful. The goal is not to save money. The goal is to grow money. Cash gets weaker every year, but your ability to build, earn, invest, and improve can get stronger every single day. Inflation is a force, but you are a force too. And when you apply knowledge, discipline, and long-term thinking, you become unstoppable. So here's the final truth. Your money is losing value whether you believe it or not, whether you notice it or not, whether you prepare for it or not. But you do not have to lose with it. You can rise above inflation. You can protect your wealth. You can build a future where rising prices don't scare you, because your income, your assets, and your knowledge are growing faster than inflation ever could. That's the kind of financial freedom you deserve. And it starts the moment you decide to stop being afraid of inflation and start taking control of your money. If this message opened your eyes, hit like, share this video with someone who needs it, and subscribe to Finance Compass for more empowering financial wisdom every week. And before you go, answer this in the comments. What's one thing you're going to do differently starting today to protect your money from losing value? Your answer might inspire someone else to change their life too.